This is obscene. The White House is suggesting October jobs data and October CPI data may be canceled. I kid you not, Carolyn Levitt just said it. I'll play it in a moment, but this pisses me off because frankly, if I were, somebody who thought, hey, you know what, I run this country, anybody I don't like is fired, I would probably do something like, gonna report bad job numbers? Head of the BLS, you're fired. Because obviously you're being political by reporting bad job numbers. And then you know what else I'd do? I'd say, we have a government funding bill to pass? How about we just dig our heels in and do jackass, not give a single inch in negotiations, and we'll just have the longest government shutdown in history, during which time we'll just happen to send Mr. Vote out to go Grim Reaper and go fire a bunch of people in government institutions. And then when the government reopens up, because we say, just kidding, we'll hire all those people back, now the courts can't blame us for firing people because we said as part of the reopening that we'll just let all those people come back that we wanted to fire. Oh, what? They don't want to come back because they started looking for work somewhere else, so they don't trust us anymore? Oh, well. Then we'll reopen, but, did I ruin your ability to collect all the data for October on jobs data that would indicate that the economy is actually falling out from the inside out, or falling apart from the inside out? And did I actually happen to accidentally ruin data that would suggest potentially tariffs are increasing inflation? What? I destroyed that data. Oh no, how could I? How terrible. That's literally exactly all what's happening, and it's pissing me off because it totally ruins. And I'm not saying America had the best reputation for accuracy with government data, okay? It's always the CPI and the Bureau of Bullcrap report, okay? But at least it was something we could look at. At least we could look and go, the pile of doo-doo got a little bit bigger this month or it got a little bit smaller this month. It's still a pile of doo-doo. But now, we're getting straight up rug pulled here, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting rugged, and it's a pisser.
Shutdown, hurting consumer sentiment and crushing the travel and hospitality industries. According to a CBO estimate, the Democrat shutdown could end up decreasing fourth quarter economic growth by 2 whole percentage points. The Democrat shutdown made it extraordinarily difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period.
Right. So blame the Democrats, because it's obviously just the Democrats' fault because they wanted funding for illegal Americans, healthcare for illegal Americans, which is false anyway. The federal government has a law against providing healthcare for illegal immigrants. This is all just being funneled through certain governors like Gavin Newsom, but California is a donor state anyway. So when you piece it together, the federal government, it was never at question at the federal government level that illegals would get healthcare. That was not what was being debated. We're talking about Obamacare-era subsidies to prevent lower-income individuals who rely on those subsidies from seeing their insurance premiums skyrocket 4x. But of course, Carolyn Levitt would never let the truth get in the way of a good story bashing Democrats. So here we are, just like her truth on, oh my gosh, we may have destroyed GDP by 2%. First of all, the Atlanta Fed now GDP estimates at 4%. It's doing really well, okay? The report that she's referring to is this Congressional Budget Office report from October 29th. And it actually indicates that although the decline in GDP will recover, the loss will be present. So we will have a loss in the economy of about $7 to $14 billion. But that GDP decline she's talking about will be temporary. You might temporarily see the annualized real GDP growth rate in the quarter alone decline between 1.0 to 2 percentage points. So of course she takes the worst one of that. She's also not mentioning that that number is being multiplied by 4. So she's taking the dip in the fourth quarter, multiplying it by 4 and applying it to the whole year. So she's overstating it, not only by 4x, but also by the fact that she's taking the worst case scenario here, which the worst case scenario assumed that the government would reopen on November 26th. But of course, again, Carolyn Levitt isn't going to let the truth stand in the way of a good story. But now, the bottom line is, Donald Trump wanted to fire people in the government, and he wanted to unleash Mr. Project 2025, Mr. Vote, to go destroy people's jobs inside the government and basically make it impossible for the government to operate. They're succeeding at that. At the same time, they are actually creating the very situation that the Federal Reserve is trying to avoid, flying blind. Trump is like, please cut rates. And the Fed's like, nah, man, we need more data. And Trump's like, well, tariffs are probably inflationary and jobs are weakening. We're going to destroy the data. Why aren't you cutting rates? Well, we have no data, sir. You guys suck. You're fired. It's like, dude, like you can't reason. Like Trump doesn't function through reason here. It's like lashing out is what this is. I think that's probably why Bostic is all of a sudden retiring. Bostic is all of a sudden not going to try to get a new term and he's going to retire at the beginning of 2026. How interesting, because Bostic is one of the people who's actually worried about inflation. You know, we've got trueflation going back up. People are actually worried that the only peg leg keeping this economy up is AI spending. And if that CapEx spending goes away because of the canaries in the coal mine that we're seeing, they're saying, oh, we get some serious warnings here. You know, watch my separate video on the canaries in the coal mine. But anyway, this is crazy because now we're even more blind on government data, and that 3-month moving average that we're trying to get might never come. We're supposed to get 3 jobs reports between now and the first week of December. We're supposed to get October, September, and November. I know I said that out of order. We were supposed to get 3 months of jobs data because we haven't gotten official jobs data since, well, frankly, August. You know, we got the August data in September. So we really only have August, June, July. And that data was bad. That said that jobs were at 29,000. ADP data says on the 3-month moving average was 0. Well, people justify that and say, oh, okay, well, we're still probably roughly in that break-even zone where we're plus or minus, economy neither expanding or contracting, should be okay, right? Should be good. And all of a sudden it's like, well, we'll know in the next 3 months of data. And I wouldn't be surprised if Trump looks at that and he goes, oh, that's ugly. Let's just not release it and blame Democrats. Yeah. Oh, in the meantime, Epstein files. Hey, did you know about this $2,000 check we want to do? You know, maybe we don't have to talk about the Epstein files, for which I don't think we're prepared.
You are not prepared.
Well, instead, we could talk about...
Nice to have you. You want to talk about lovemaking, right?
Okay, that's not appropriate.
Fetch me.
But anyway, you know, instead, let's talk about these checks, which now Besson is saying, yeah, the economy might get hurt here, which makes me wonder, did they just look at data? And they're like, crap, we can't show this to anyone. We need to keep the lie going. We need to keep the stock market going, because if the stock market goes down, the AI spending goes down. If that happens, we go into recession. Highest level of consumer exposure to the stock market right now. And it's happening in a very, very weird environment, because usually when consumer sentiment goes down, stock allocation goes down, but the opposite is happening right now. Stock allocation is, skyrocketing, while at the same time consumer sentiment is falling. That's a very, very weird divergence. You don't usually see that. And so it's very nerve-wracking to me, because I look at this and go, shoot, man, this could be bad. This is not good. This is really, like, seriously not good. And I'm not even pitching anything like my Alpha report in this video. I'm just saying, this is not good.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.